welcome to Nostalgic Black Millennial. Today I'm gonna jump right in. I just wanted to talk about my experience from the past few days. My son, he's 4, he had an allergic reaction to something, and it has just been the scariest experience ever. So on Monday morning, like around 3 something in the morning, my son woke up just itching. And so I told him to take a cool shower. He took a cool shower, put on some new clothes, got back in the bed for a little bit, and he was still persistently itching. So I told him, I gave him a little bit of Benadryl and rubbed some hydrocortisone on where he was itching. But he just could not stay still. He was just jumping around. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the doctor. So I took him to his doctor, and guess what? They told me the same thing that I had already done, which is give him Benadryl, put hydrocortisone on it. There wasn't anything wrong with his breathing at that point, so they just sent us home. That was around 9 o'clock in the morning. So as the day is going, these hives are just spreading. My baby is brown. He probably darker than me, so hives are just spreading. Redness, is ears, butt, legs, everywhere. And my baby came to me, and he just it's like he looked lethargic, like he was just gonna pass out. And so I grabbed him and I dialed 911, and I'm like, send me an ambulance. And I gave him my address, and I hung up. And then at this point, the baby looked like he was trying to vomit. So I grab him, I pick him up. I run to the bathroom. He vomit. I slipped in the vomit. Thank God he didn't hit his head when I fell. But, so he threw up, and then after he got done, he was like, Ma, I feel better. I'm okay. So then by that time, the fire department called me and said, hey, did you call for a paramedic? And I said, yes, but I'm just going to take him to the doctor. They said, okay, hung up. So I put the baby in the shower, clean both of us up some, and I drove to the nearest children's ER. We get there, ER packed. I'm talking about it's packed. It's so packed. They got this little bootleg sign-in sheet. They take my baby name. I give it to them. We sit back down. My baby's still jumping around. So I walk back up there with him. Excuse me, ma'am. Is there like a nurse or something that I could talk to? And you know how they be. Like the lady, she couldn't even hear me. She had her earphones in. She on her phone. So I'm literally tapping on that. Excuse me, ma'am. Is there any way that I could speak to possibly a triage nurse? My baby's small. He's been itching for a time. He has hives. And she's like, did you sign in? She just took my name 5 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, we'll call you after we get you registered. Like, okay. We walk back and sit down. My baby, 5 minutes later, he's still moving around. And at this point, he's like laboring to breathe. So I carry him back up at this time. Excuse me, ma'am. Is there any way that I can speak to a triage? I said, I know that all these people have been here. I'm not trying to jump the line, but is there any way that I can speak to a triage nurse? And she gave me the same spiel. I can't give you no medical advice. If you signed in, you just gotta wait. I said, ma'am, my baby is at this point having a hard time breathing. So she pointed me to the triage nurse that was sitting right next to her. And they were servicing another family, but the lady was just like, okay, what's going on? I said, he's only 4, so he hasn't been diagnosed with asthma, but right now he has labored breathing, he has hives everywhere, and he can't sit still because he's itching. And she's like, okay, she's just taking her sweet time, and I'm like, ma'am, he's having a hard time breathing. And she got an attitude with me. She's like, I have my eyes on him, ma'am. And then my baby just started, like, he was falling to the floor, and he started vomiting, which are 2 red flags. So then they immediately scoop him up, sit him down, give him a bag to throw up in. They start taking his vitals. And then, they sent us in the back, which I'm like, thank you. So if you're a parent watching this, you have to advocate for your child. Like, no one knows your child, and no one is going to take their life as seriously as you, unfortunately. So you have to advocate. I don't care if there is a waiting list. If there's something wrong, take them up there. But we get to the back, to the ER, and they gave him an epi shot, which helped tremendously with the itching and the hives. They gave him Benadryl, but Like after an hour or so, he was just back to the highs. Before it was all said and done, they ended up giving my baby, they put him up on the intensive care unit. They gave him like 3 epi shots. They were asking me if he had anything that was new. The only thing that I can think of was that I tried a new detergent the night before. However, like a day prior to that, he also like had a bite. It looked like I don't know if it was like a spider bite, insect, some type of it was a small bite on his face, but I don't know what caused the allergic reaction, but we ended up having to stay in the hospital overnight. Um, they gave him different steroids and things and it was just so painful to watch my baby go through that because he couldn't sleep at night. So I'm up watching him and I couldn't provide no relief to him. All I could do was like rub him or put a cold towel. And my baby was just like, I want to escape. He was ready to go. And we left yesterday. When we left, he still had like a little bit of redness on his ears, but like we were ready to go. So we just they gave us medication for him. We ended up leaving and he's doing a little bit better, but to be honest with you, he's still kind of itching. So I don't know what today will bring once he wakes up. Right now he's resting comfortably, but once he wakes up, I gotta see like if the itching has subsided or is still persistent, and that'll let me know whether we need to take another trip to the doctor's office. I hope you get something from this. I know it's scary when your kid is going through a medical emergency, but you as a parent, you still have to try to remain as calm as possible so that you can make rational decisions and speak on their behalf and advocate for them. So if you have to go through this, hang in there. It'll get better. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.